Good morning, Lululus. How you doing? It sounds like the end might be closer than we thought for the Joker because he is looking a little bit overcooked right now. Last night, he held a late night press conference at the Kennedy Center and he looked, like the sun had definitely gone down. He was giving a speech about how fantastic and wonderful he is, and that actually he was probably a lot better at decorating and putting tiles than he is as a politician. He even said that someone asked him which he prefers, construction and decorating or politics, and he's like, I don't really know how to answer that. Yeah, I'm sure you don't. Speaking of construction, the construction on the East Wing / ballroom of the White House has been suspended because the people who did the demolition in the first place weren't paid. He didn't pay any of the contractors thus far, and they're not even able to come to a consensus on how much money he's going to spend to fix it in the first place. So right now there's nothing happening at all. Because that is what he does. Anybody who agrees to do money for this man on an IOU basis, well, you deserve whatever happens to you as a result. A US Congresswoman tweeted a very interesting tweet yesterday that might give us the explanation about these interesting, infamous bruises on the back of the Joker's hands. She said that there just so happens to be a medication called Leqembi, and it is a treatment for Alzheimer's disease. This treatment is given via infusions intermittently, but it does require frequent MRI scans to make sure that there's no sort of brain linkage happening, because that's one of the side effects of this medication, and maybe that's why he's had 2 MRI. One of the other side effects is peripheral swelling, which we definitely saw this week. That edema was like at least 2+. So, I mean, health-wise, he's really not doing very well. I know that it can be exhausting to continually talk about like how much he is sliding backwards, but it's important because it's a matter of national security. Like, I have an important job. I'm a pediatric surgical nurse. If I fell asleep at work one time, I would instantly be asked to leave. And if it happened a second time, I would be asked to leave permanently because my job's important. I have to be awake because the lives of people's children rest in my hand every single day. Well, the entire world rests in his hands. And homie can't keep his eyes open. That is a legitimate problem. And I shouldn't have to point that out. But alas, we do, because yesterday our country put out a new national security plan that looks like it came straight out of the Kremlin. And one of the bullet points in this plan literally talks about destabilizing the European Union and no longer prioritizing any of our relationships with our allies. Yeah, that's a really big deal, especially when you're saying that those people are the only ones that are allowed to come into our country anyways. Which one is it? Do we only like people that don't come from shithole countries? Well, at the same time, you're just throwing them to the wolves, but you got all the money and time in the world for everybody else. Come on. This is straight out of an abusive relationship handbook. They're isolating us from all of our friends and allies so that we can't leave. At the same time, there's a law that was presented in the House that is supposed to make it so that people have to choose which country they have citizenship to in the event that they have dual citizenship, and we'll see if that goes all the way through. But that's basically making it so that anyone who is a dual citizen, and my husband and his mom are, they don't have an exit plan anymore and they have to stay here. What does that sound like? Where does that sound like anyway? Seeing as the rest of the world isn't nearly as brainwashed into thinking that all of this is normal, they're preparing for global conflict. The men of the UK are being reminded of their duty to go into their version of the draft in the event that a global conflict breaks out, and they said that we are the closest to that as we have ever been since the last time that we had one. For what? Exactly, because all of you guys said that you voted for this based on the economy, right? And because it's not that you're like Ray or any sort of blankophobic, you just wanted what's best for your family, for your pocketbook, for your country. Well, our country is spiraling backwards down into the drain, and we are this close to a recession. The jobs report from November just came out yesterday, and it was abysmal. The last time we had as many layoffs in 1 month as we did in November was during the pandemic. That man is just as bad for our economy as a plague. So if you're happy with what's happening right now, then it probably was the hatred after all. The Joker is threatening to send the military into Pueblo, Colorado, because our Governor Polis is refusing to release Tina Peters. Tina Peters worked for Mesa County, and she blatantly tried to fiddle with the results of the 2020 contest. She was found guilty by a jury of her peers, and she was sentenced to, I believe, 9 years in prison. And this has all the people on the right big mad. They think that she needs to be released, and it's not fair. It's so terrible. And her lawyer has outright called for people to be including our governor, for refusing to let this woman go who blatantly is a contest fiddler. He's being held in Pueblo on state charges, so the Joker isn't able to pardon her, and that makes him very upset. But as of right now, Governor Polis is not bending the knee to the Joker, which, to be honest, surprises me. All right, that was a lot. Big deep breath. I know it's really dark. I really can feel it too, but it is always darkest when you can see the stars, right? And just remember that the moment that you feel like you're going to give up, you're usually just about to break through the surface. So try to enjoy your Sunday today. I hope you drink some yummy coffee, hope you eat a yummy snack, and as always, keep your eyes up, keep your feet on the ground. I'll see you next time. Hang in there, okay? Ta-ta.